You are live. Okay. What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of PMP's Den of Antiquities. Today, we're here to do the first roundtable of Ahsoka. So, what did everybody think about it? You know, we got a lot of mixed opinions. A lot of it seems to be good from what I'm hearing across the Star Wars universe. But as always, I look forward to hearing what you guys think.
I mean, all around, I thought it was great. My favorite part of both episodes so far, and I hope it continues throughout the rest of the season, but everything feels very storyboarded, if that makes sense. Like
Yeah.
every shot feels so cinematic, and you can just easily screenshot it and use it as your screensaver. Like every shot I felt like had that sort of impact.
Heck yeah.
Yeah. Cinematography is good. The score and music. Kevin Kiner, I was happy to see the credits for that.
Yeah. OG.
The characters layout, rest in peace, Ray Stevenson. Just an amazing performance to go out on. I love.
Dude, he was scary looking.
He's like towering over those New Republic officers.
I know. I was like, when I saw his because he has like shoulder pieces on over his thing. I'm like, God dang, this dude's looking like a freaking Star Destroyer over here. Like he's like taking up the whole hallway. His shoulders are like breaking the hallway, like mirrors and shit like that as he's going by.
Yeah, man. I love it all, dude. I'm all for it. I also love, for my own personal stuff, from martial arts stuff, I love the fact that they got the magistrate back from the Mandalorian, who is Bruce Lee's granddaughter. So if you give that woman a weapon, she is deadly. And also a live action Night Sister with Night Sister magic.
Yeah. For sure. What about the rest of you guys? What did you guys think?
I thought it was good. I think it's the first episode I could say I was like completely content with. Like I know some people were saying it was too slow, and then people disagreed. I think it was a little slower paced, which is like reasonable. We gotta do a good intro, but it was definitely like it felt the most balanced of a first episode. Even if they didn't release the second one, I would have been like, okay, that's a good intro. And I think it's easier coming off of like a whole show. Everything's pretty set up. But yeah, I think it overall was a good setup to everything.
Heck yeah. I think Sarah, Cal, and TC, I think you guys are left. What do you guys think?
Okay, I absolutely loved the first two episodes. What got me really excited was how the first episode opened up with just a simple opening crawl, and I was like, oh, because we haven't had that in so long. I was like, oh, this feels like traditional Star Wars. And I thought everything was amazing, like between the cinematography, the music, and like I almost forgot I was watching a show at some point. I thought I was watching a movie, and it definitely felt like a continuation of Rebels, but seeing it from Ahsoka's perspective this time, instead of her kind of being a side character, how she was in Rebels, she's more involved and we're seeing it through her eyes. And kind of seeing how her journey is going to go this time with them coming along for the ride. And when I saw Chopper finally for the first time, I started screaming out of pure excitement because he's one of my favorite droids. And just seeing everyone come to life from the cartoon to live action was just the most mind-blowing thing because it brought the characters to life even more. And I'm really excited to see where this story goes. Definitely, I can see why some fans would be confused going into this, not having seen Rebels. Like, I had a few coworkers who were like, I have not seen Rebels, and I'm, like, informing them, like, yeah, this is that, and these are these characters, but they got the gist of what it was, which is good, and I think most people will understand this story. I don't feel like you have to fully know Rebels. It just enhances it more so you kind of know who these characters are and what their situation is in this story. But yeah, I'm hyped. I think this story is going to be pretty good, and I think it's going to be one of the better Star Wars shows that we've gotten so far.
I hope so.
Kind of hopping off what Sarah said there, I do completely agree about the opening crawl. The fact that it does start with that, like, instantly makes it feel way more cinematic. And there were multiple times while watching the first 2 episodes where like if I could just black out around the screen, like I want to watch it in a movie theater. It just feels so like true to like cinematic Star Wars, and I almost feel like it's an injustice that we're getting it at home. You know what I mean? Because Star Wars in the theater just hits different. But the other part is like we were kind of talking about this before we went live. I love that it is just like there's not really any sort of like hand holding when it comes to jumping into Rebels lore, Clone Wars lore. Like you either know it or you don't, and it adds like you can watch it without that knowledge, but it adds so much to this show. And I truly feel like this show really feels like it's for Star Wars fans. Like it feels like even though The Mandalorian's like fun, there's a bunch of fan service for us kind of people, but like this just feels like it's made for us. And I think the first 2 episodes were like genuinely perfect in the way that they felt.
Heck yeah, man. I couldn't agree more.
I would have to say this show definitely surprised me because I remember when they announced Ahsoka, and I always liked Ahsoka. I always thought she was cool from Clone Wars and then Star Wars Rebels, and but I would have to say like after season 3 of Mando, I was a little bit skeptical on if the show was really going to be as good, because the Mandalorian season 3 was a little bit underwhelming for me, and going into this I was like very nervous to see like if it would be the same. But I am glad to say that all of that went out the window as soon as I watched these 2 episodes. I mean, it's just amazing from the cinematography, the music, and the overall like vibes in general, because I was really hoping that Dave would stick to the same like kind of like samurai feel that was in the Mandalorian season 2 episode when he introduced Ahsoka, and I was extremely happy. And plus the lightsaber fight scenes were top notch. And,
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Overall, I'm excited for more, and I want more.
Well, to kind of go off that, man, like it is nice to see, because I kind of put it in place of like the same thing as Boba Fett. We got that Boba Fett episode, right? And Mando, where he's just a badass. Like he is the Boba we know. Like he's kicking ass and taking names, and that's what we thought the Boba Fett show was going to be, and we kind of didn't get that.
Mm-hmm.
But now with Ahsoka, we got that where it's the same thing. Ahsoka was epic in that episode. Like she was kicking ass. Her and the Magistrate's fight was like super cool. And I feel like they carried that same level of hype over to these first 2 episodes. Like it feels the exact same way. So I couldn't agree more with you, man. It just, you can tell that it's being made by somebody who's just as nerdy about Star Wars as we are. That gets down to like the nitty gritties, But I'm curious to see, we've kind of lightly talked about it, but to me, the most interesting characters so far, just because we don't really know a lot about them, are Baylan and Shin. But I'm curious to see kind of what you guys think about them, and like how their presence is going to be, because like, man, those orange sabers, I know it's kind of like, they're like almost like blood orange. It's like they're a little red, but they're not like completely red. Like, what do you guys think about, because like they kind of come out of left field. Like you're just like, they loosely say that Baylan like somehow like managed to escape Order 66 and just kind of vanished, and now they're like almost like mercenaries, which I found like really interesting, because like we've never really had any like mercenary Jedi. We kind of have like Ventress in the Clone Wars, where she becomes like a bounty hunter, which is like the coolest freaking arc. I love that arc so much, because like a Sith bounty hunter sounds like literally like the most like fanboy like Star Wars nerdy cool thing. And we're kind of getting the same thing with Baylan, because when he comes in, after also adding another hallway scene to the laundry list of hallway scenes, but she was like, "Oh, I'm surprised you like were here." And he's like, oh, well, he's like, you surely pay me enough to be here and keep my word. So I want to, enough of me kind of gawking over them. I want to hear what you guys think about them.
I see a lot of similarities, especially with Balin to Count Dooku.
Oh, okay.
I see a lot of big similarities with them, but yeah, Balin's very, very, very interesting because, like I said, he's not a Jedi, but he's also not a Sith, and you can kind of see that he's not like I'm sure there's one scene where he's talking about Ahsoka, and it's like, you know, he's kind of like pitying her in a way, and that was so interesting, and that immediately like brought me back to what Dooku, just back to Dooku and his view on the Jedi, and it's kind of interesting because I think because I don't know if you know in Legends, Dooku's like plan, Dooku's plan on how the Clone Wars was supposed to end, and how he was going to
was he gonna like train like an army or something like that?
Yeah.
Wasn't it?
Yeah, his own separate Jedi Order, and immediately that brought me back to Balin. I was like,
1,000%.
Hey, what's going on, man?
Yeah, 1,000%.
Appreciate you stopping by.
It's yeah, I'll ditto off of that. Balin, the orange saber, I love. It's almost like a complete inversion of Mace's purple, where he would trend on the dark just a bit. However, going over to this, it's almost like the invert of this. He kind of literally just like he said, just like Ahsoka. Seems like a waste to go after her. It's a shame. I can't remember exact words, but even his before the hallway scene, he gave those fools a chance.
Yeah,
he did not. I love how he's just like, sure you want to do this, and the rest is history. But
yeah, I was like, I don't buy it. He's like, do you buy it now?
Yeah. Yeah, it was. I love it. Ray Stevenson just nailed it and killed it. Yeah, right. But I don't know, like the way that he gravitates himself, he's definitely not a Sith, and I love that. So like near the dark Jedi type stuff and everything, he's just been hanging out after Order 66 and finds this, apprentice who. I love her as well. She's amazingly done. I love how they add the additional Padawan braid that has probably not been torn off since the whole Order 66 went down. The way she moves parallels Maul so much, it's ridiculous.
Oh,
which
I want to cut in right there, and then I'll let you finish.
No, man, you're good.
I don't think she was either born or found during Order 66 because she looks younger.
Yeah.
And two, Hu Yang doesn't recognize her lightsaber, which to me implied that she doesn't. But I think that's cool that he's still kind of like, even though like the Jedi are gone, he's still kind of keeping some of the traditions. Compared to like Ahsoka, which like one of the first things she says to Hu Yang is like, oh, I don't follow like the Jedi codes anymore. Like the Jedi are gone. Like I don't follow. Like there's a lot of like juxtaposed between like them, like it's called master and apprentice, and I love the fact that like they literally both, him and Ahsoka, both say I'm no Jedi. Now she says hers in Rebels when she's fighting Vader, and he says his kind of offhandedly, but I like that they're kind of playing with that idea, because even Ahsoka is like, even the right decisions have consequences, and I think that they're kind of trying to play on something there, because like you just said, he's not really a bad guy. To me, it just kind of seems like he's doing what he has to do to survive. And it might be extreme measures, but that's what he knows how to do to survive a galaxy where literally almost everybody wants to kill him, But continue. Sorry, I do want to
no.
there, but you sparked something in my head, so I was like, I gotta get
no worries. Great minds think alike. No worries at all. Yeah, just her and just paralleling Maul and just even to the point where I go back and I've heard a couple times people say, it's like Mom, just like Mom. I'm like, okay, let me look. Yeah, right. And then they made the same sound. I went back and watched our watch party over our friend Strike's channel. Go to his channel.
Yeah, definitely go check that guy out, guys. We have all our reactions there.
All our faces go incredibly red, pun intended, when we see the title cards. We're all like, it's red!
Oh, and we lost our minds. We're like, there's a crow! Let's go! We're all like freaking out.
Yeah. But real fast, I'll wrap that. The sound, it makes the same sound that Maul's droids, whenever he was on Tatooine, made. And everything mixed in with the Imperial probe droids as well.
And even the music's kind of similar. Like it has that, like those, like it's either the trombone or the trumpet. It's like dun, dun, dun. You know, like it has that same kind of vibe.
So yeah, I'm all about it for both of them, Balin and his apprentice.
I do have a question about like Ahsoka, because I know that like she's technically not a Jedi, but I do find it interesting that she calls Sabine her Padawan.
Yeah.
Did that cross anybody else's mind? So I'm wondering if she's, I don't really know what to think, if I'm being honest. Like I don't know what's going through her brain. I hope that's something that they touch on though, because like if Balin's not a Jedi and Ahsoka's not a Jedi, but they both have apprentices, like it's just kind of like this interesting, I don't know what to think of it. What do y'all think?
Yeah, I mean, I think I agree. Like that was really puzzling to me. I'm like, they both say they're no Jedi, but they're like kind of keeping within the Jedi like kind of codes with like the Padawan braids and calling them like master and apprentice. I kind of chalked it up, and like maybe we'll get something for like further down the line that explains it. I kind of just chalked it up to like that's just what they know to call. Like they didn't want to have to like maybe create like another name for like master and apprentice. But yeah, it is kind of weird because like also like master and apprentice, and like I guess they don't call Sabine a Padawan, but like usually that entails like force sensitivity, which like to me doesn't seem like Sabine has, or like maybe she has it like I was saying that in our Discord, like maybe she has it kind of like Chirrut has it, maybe not as fine-tuned as Chirrut, but like how he can't use the force, but he can kind of like sense that it's like around him, so maybe she has something kind of like that. But yeah, I'm not sure, honestly.
Donnie Yen. Yes, sorry. Man, if that helps is all. I just view it as I guess she is a Mandalorian, so she loves war. It's in her blood. And I almost went down a Rambo path there. I just view it as, she's a Mandalorian. She trained under Kanan, got like a little bit of that and everything. So no force or anything like that. That just enjoys probably learning, probably like in between stuff when they're talking about the past years and stuff. So whenever Rebels ended and whenever this is picking up and everything like that, maybe they had like a little couple training sessions, like, hey, you want to learn how to do this? Cool, man. Okay, yeah, right on, thank you, and everything like that. Just something happened between them where it's like and everything like that. But I think it's just like warfare and weapons and Mandalorians and lightsabers.
I do think that Sabine, like unpopular opinion, I do think Sabine is force sensitive. Am I the only one that thinks that?
I don't think she's not, but I don't think she's like full on force sensitive Jedi. I think she might be like feeling something out, but
see, I think that Sabine is a better candidate than Grogu for the first Mandalorian Jedi since Tar Vizsla.
Well, she is House Vizsla, so it would make sense.
That's a good point. I didn't even think about that. I was going to say something completely different, but that is genius. Thank you, Nick.
House Ren is a split off from Death Watch.
That's true.
Which was Vizsla.
Yeah.
So it would make sense that she might have something brewing in her veins with Tar Vizsla. I don't know.
Well, I think she is force sensitive, just like not as like strong as like Ahsoka or
No, yeah, Hu Yang calls her super weak.
Yeah, I mean, whether she is or not, I think it's a really cool parallel that she's. I mean, I guess I don't know. I'm pretty sure there's no one else. She's from the only race, the Mandalorians, that use a lightsaber, but pretty much never force sensitive. obviously she got to wield the darksaber, and she, is from people that someone has a lightsaber if you're good enough, and so even if she's not, it's kind of like she was already ready for that. She's like, oh well, if I'm gonna lead Mandalore one day, I'm gonna have a lightsaber. It's like not about being a Jedi or being a Sith or following any code except for Mandalorian code. So I think it works out well for her, because even for me, when I saw like in the sequels when Finn used the lightsaber like for the first time, I'm like, that doesn't really make sense, because like canonically, like it's hard to use lightsabers if you don't have the Force or something. I don't really care that much, but yeah, it's interesting to see that she comes from like the only race that still uses a lightsaber but doesn't follow any of the codes that typical lightsaber wielders follow.
And this is the era of Mandalorian Jedi, and I'm about it. This is like the Disney era of Mandalorian Jedi, and I'm here for it.
Same.
This is also a little off topic. This is after Mando season 3, correct?
Takes place at the same time.
Great question.
Because I was just wondering, like, does she know, or will she find out that like the darksaber doesn't exist anymore now?
Oh, that's true.
Oh yeah.
I didn't think about that.
It's gone.
I want to say it's probably, I don't know, because like they mentioned Thrawn and the third season. I know like the first 2 seasons are probably before Ahsoka, but I don't know where it falls. Like if it's before or after Mando season 3, because like we get those, and then same with Boba Fett. Like she's on that planet with Luke. We don't know for how long. Like when does that? Like where is she in that? Like I imagine that's also probably before. I would guess. I don't know, but
because
I saw something
captured her. Sorry to cut you off. Does she captured Morgan, and I was like, okay, I'm assuming like right after they had their fight, when she had the Beskar spear in season 2, that's when she got captured. But I'm like, I don't know if that's right after that, or if she just took a really long time to get transported to a New Republic jail facility.
I read something that it takes place at the same time.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Like it's conjoined. Oh.
I feel like they just make this stuff up on the fly, because like the Jon Favreau saying that like Grogu trained with them for like 2 years. I'm like, you're just pulling stuff out of your butt, man. Like that seemed like he was with them for like 30 seconds. Like, come on. But how do you kind of going off of what Wes was saying, how do you guys feel about Ahsoka and Sabine's like master and apprenticeship? Because that takes place completely off screen. Like you don't see any of that in Rebels. Like I can't think, because it's been a while since I've seen Rebels, but I don't even really think Ahsoka really interacted with Sabine all that much in the show. So I want to see, because I know there's a little bit of I wouldn't say like hate or anything like that, but there's a little controversy between that, because we do get that development, off screen. And I'm curious to see what you guys have to say about it.
I think it's good that they're just skipping past it, because in season 3 we pretty much saw like Sabine go through Jedi training with Kanan and Ezra. So like
that's true.
I don't think that there's another. I don't think we need to see it again with Ahsoka. Like I think based off what we saw in Rebels, Kanan and Ahsoka got along pretty well in like their point of views. Kanan was definitely more leaning towards like an actual Jedi and taking on the title and stuff like that. But I mean,
Oh,
I don't think we need to see it again.
There's a time jump?
Yeah.
I didn't really have a problem with it. Huh. I mean, from the season 4 finale, Ahsoka and Sabine both like leave
like together
to go find Ezra. So, I mean, them sort of being master and apprentice, I didn't really. I mean, it threw me off. I was just like, oh, that's interesting. But I mean, it technically makes sense. I mean.
Yeah, I'm most curious about like where is she at skill level now, like because she was probably rusty. She hasn't picked up her lightsaber and used it in a while, but obviously she got jacked up. Like it didn't seem like Shin was trying that hard. So I'm like, did she get better with Ahsoka? Did she not really change much, or like what did she really learn? So I guess, kind of a cliffhanger is we'll see where she's at in her training when they pick up. They'll be like, we'll be able to see, okay, do this practice or however it's going to go.
Oh yeah.
Meanwhile,
'cause
Qui-Gon's heading
the last
high air right now.
We'll get to that a little further down. We'll definitely
I
get to
just
that.
remember the last person she fought
Hey,
canonically
Strike, what's
was
going on,
Gar
man?
Saxon.
Yeah.
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 Which is I would say a
Also
more,
voiced by Balin.
Oh, that's right.
Oh, true.
Rip. What's going on, Strike? Appreciate you stopping by, man. Have a good night's sleep.
In the future.
Space and time.
also, sorry, I'll get to it. It was just kind of like a side note parallel. I don't know if anyone saw TikTok, but how closely this first episode, like mainly everything surrounding the map, is close to Treasure Planet.
Oh
Yeah.
dude, so much. It's
And
like literally
I
Treasure Planet, man.
I loved that, dude. Treasure Planet is like the freaking
Such a good
it's so
movie.
awesome. And yeah, it was fun. Even when they open up like that dimension, I'm like, that's the world between worlds. Like it's crazy. Like
It's literally Treasure Planet, but blue instead of green. It's the green
But yeah,
effect.
off top, but that was cool.
Heck yeah. We're gonna get to that too here, because I got a couple questions about that. How did you guys feel about the punk music that was playing when Sabine is like doing her Fast and the Furious kind of like Top Gun style thing? Because I'm not trying to, I don't like to talk about Boba Fett, because I feel like every time I talk about Boba Fett, I feel like I'm a downer. But juxtaposed to Boba Fett, where like the music wasn't bad in the shop where he goes to get the mods for Fennec, but to me that felt sci-fi, but it felt like more like Blade Runner or something. Like it didn't really feel Star Wars to me, whereas like this, like the punk kind of made me think of Cal when he's like doing the sander, or not sander, he's like if I can talk, oh my goodness, thank you, that's the word I was looking for, scrapping. And listening to the Hun type of music, but I'm curious to what you guys, because to my knowledge we haven't really had any like punk style music in live action, I don't think.
No.
I loved it, dude.
Give me a playlist.
I love Beastie Boys, and that like was so reminiscent, I feel like, of Star Wars,
yeah.
and that was
Good.
yeah. I mean, I think it was awesome. I think it was perfectly done.
I think the big issue with the Boba music is that like it just doesn't match what we saw in the previous couple episodes at all, and it's just the complete wrong aesthetic for Tatooine, where like Sabine is this punk rock like rebel at heart kind of character. She graffitis walls and does all this stuff, and it totally fits, and it just sounded better.
Dude, we need to see her graffiti some stuff on that topic of graffiti. Like, I want to see her break out the little thing and just like tag.
She has
something.
her paint guns.
Yeah, we saw some.
The box that she took the little Jedi hollow disc out of.
It was in there?
Yeah, her paint guns
Nice.
were in there.
That's sick.
Was the lyrics? I don't know if the lyrics were Huttese. I didn't really like. I was kind of listening to like the riffs and stuff like that. Do you guys know? Were you? I didn't hear the. I'll have to go back and like maybe when they release like the soundtrack, go back and
fairly
jam
like
to it.
muffled.
Yeah.
These bands catch on to stuff that even I don't catch like the first or second time. Like
feel
it
that.
takes me like maybe a watch, like I have to watch something like a couple times to be like, oh yeah, that little Easter egg was in there or something. But no, there's some more hardcore fans out there, I would say, that just catch on to every little detail. Even I think with the galaxy thing, when they're saying there's other galaxies, people were like,
Oh yeah, Nick sent
Their
that to
planet?
us. I was just like, people have too much free time
Oh,
on
yeah,
their hands,
man.
man. I was
Someone
like
decoded all the end credits.
From.
Yeah.
I was like, how? Like, where do you find this stuff? Like,
Insane.
I
He's
didn't even
like
cross
deducing
my
from
mind.
all of these words, like you can make that's an S from this, like the way that it's angled and the degree of the
Absolutely
sun and the
crazy.
dials makes that a W. I'm like, what the hell are you? I'm like, bro, you're speaking nonsense, man. Get out of here. But no, it made sense though.
It
I mean, like,
makes perfect sense.
yeah, when he's talking about it, I was like, man, I can't even like call you on it, because like to me that like my Star Wars brain is just like, yep, cool. Mhm. You know,
Great
but-
Scott, Marty.
yeah, I was like, God, Lee, but no, that's super cool. And then we get the I believe also the first live action. I believe they're E-wings. I think that's what which I think it. I mean, you guys might like it. It goes right up there with the A-wing for me. I think it's a goofy looking design, man. It just looks like a Chungus X-wing. It just looks like a Chungus X-wing.
Yeah, I was watching it and like I was looking at like I was watching it with my buddy and I was like, oh, is that an X? Oh, it doesn't look like an X-wing. Like, what is that?
It sounded like
That's
it, actually.
interesting.
It's an X-wing that needs to go on a diet. That's what it is. I will say the color schemes though on it, like their helmets and all that, like the blue with the gold, like that was clean, like that was sick. But
and the new droids as well, like, pretty similar, but like the big eye. I'm like, because we saw, like I don't think we've seen a normal astromech in the show yet, but you've seen a few of those. And I'm like,
is the one at the beginning not a regular one? Like
I don't
one at
remember.
The very beginning.
I didn't notice any, I guess I'll say.
I will say we have been getting a lot of red droids, and red's my favorite color, so I'm like
those
super
protocol droids.
Yeah, which we'll get to that. But like the like all of them are red. Like the astromech at the beginning or whatever it is, like that one's red. Like the one in the second episode, like the 3PO units are red. The HKs are red. I'm like, yeah, let's go. It was like red Star Wars for life.
And they also reused that blue one from Mando as well. I'm assuming that's the same. Okay. Well, like in the very beginning, not the astromech, the protocol, like C-3PO, but like the shiny blue that was in the cantina.
Oh, yeah.
I'm assuming that's the same physical thing, but that was cool to see. It was just a woman voice or a feminine voice.
Dang, good call. I didn't even put that together. I didn't even put those two and two together. But then we get I wanted to talk about the HK droids, man, because this is the first, to my knowledge, in live action, this is the first time we've got HK style droids. You know,
Mando season 2.
Yeah, they were in Mando.
Oh, right, because the magistrate with the. I always forget that episode. We literally just got done talking about it, but they're in that one. But like, yeah, dude, those things look so clean.
Those same nerds that decoded the credits are the same ones that back in Mando season 2 deciphered the emblem on their capes, and that's how we found out that like it was Thrawn's logo from Rebels that the stormtroopers had on their pauldrons.
Yeah, you're right.
It's freaking nerds, man.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, it's interesting to see like droids wearing clothing, like even if it's just
those are the best
like
droids.
It's freaking cool.
Dude,
and then all I gotta say is like they really go boom.
Yeah, my gosh. I mean, there is 5 of them, and I imagine all 5 have the bombs in them. But I was just like, holy crap! Like, they're not, because I was thinking back to that scene in Rebels when the droid that sounds like Snape from Harry Potter, like that droid comes in, and then they send it back to the fleet or whatever, and it blows that. Yeah. I was like, dang, that's what they were like talking about, because they're like, oh, this droid's gonna blow up the whole base, and I guess that was kind of probably the similar style bomb. But I was like, holy crap! I was like, we're gonna have like Fallout 3 over here on this planet. Like, goodness gracious!
I also wonder if like the dirt on that planet was a bit like flammable or something too, because the radius of that blast went out so far.
Big bada boom.
That's just the trick of the Dathomir witches, is they just sprinkle gunpowder everywhere, so they're actually not doing magic. They're just like throwing like little sparks, and that's how they're
like, look, we had a bad experience with a droid general. We're not taking any chances anymore. We're just home alone in this place. Yeah. No, man. As soon as I heard like and just seeing HK units, I was like, Revan, and immediately that's where my brain went, because KOTOR, like that was one of his, that was his jam and everything. So immediately when I get a chance to see those, plus early Rap and Corey artwork, I'm like, yes. And then seeing the staffs and everything used, like the Magna Guards from back in Revenge of the Sith, and you're just like, yes. So I loved it. I enjoyed it.
Heck yeah, man. I think they give those Magna Guards a run for their money. Like, those Magna Guards look cool as heck, but I'm like, I don't know. I was like, kind of feeling these HK droids now. It's like, I feel like that Toy Story meme where it's like, I don't want to play with you anymore. Like, drops like, Woody, I think it is. But since we have a lot of Jedi Survivor and Fallen Order fans in the house, did you guys think that the people on the wall looked like the people from Zepho?
Yeah.
a little bit. Like,
Yeah,
it
it looks
has-
similar.
Yeah, there's
Absolutely.
definitely a
They look
connection.
creepy, man.
It is interesting though. So in the first Jedi Survivor game, Cal goes to Dathomir to get what is it called, the Astrium or something, to unlock where the holocron is, and that also is like a gold sphere. So I wonder if there's just something with Night Sisters and keeping information in gold spheres.
Like a holocron for Night Sisters. Maybe.
Yeah, basically. And since that also obviously Fallen Order is tied closely with the Zepho, I wonder if like they were from like a distant galaxy or something, the one that we might be going to,
Oh yeah.
and they built that platform because it seems like the Zepho might be kind of tied with the Night Sisters a bit. I don't know.
I would love to see Zepho in live action.
Yeah,
Well,
Sarah.
That'd be so cool.
I'm gonna just blow up from fangirling.
She's gonna pull an.
You're like,
HK and just
I love
Get ready.
Like
I'll be like the droids of the first episode.
'cause, like I know they have their own planet, but I wonder if they like migrated from somewhere else and kind of like called the planet home or something. I don't know.
Well, yeah, it's great that you bring that up because we don't know what happened to the Zepho. We just know that they were close to extinction or they were basically extinct. Well, maybe there were some that survived and escaped to another distant galaxy and maybe migrated somewhere else. And there's been hints lately at the Zepho, like even in the Bad Batch, when they were like on another treasure hunt or something, and they found like this technology from like an ancient time, and it looked distinctly shaped like a Zepho head. And I'm like, why is there a bunch of hints to the Zepho lately? Like, this was just like a little concept from a video game, and it's starting to feel like it's being heavily hinted now in more Star Wars content. So I would personally love to see it come to the live action stance, but we'll see where it has to fit in the timeline.
Well, Sarah, didn't they? Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think I remember at the end of Fallen Order, didn't Cal say that like they ran off to the unknown regions?
You're right. Oh my God, they did.
So
trans.
They could be out there. And also notice that everything that's like been Zepho-y has been in a Filoni written project.
Yeah. I
I feel
wonder
like
if he has plans.
I feel like Filoni. You know that meme? I don't know if you guys have seen it, where it's like Director Krennic, and it's like Director Krennic and Tarkin has like it looks like a toy Death Star, and he's like, "You made this," and then he like zaps Krennic, and he's like, "I made this." I feel like Dave is like that with Respawn. Dave was like, "You made this, I made this," and like just taking it into. But like that'd be cool because like I'm curious, you know, like obviously they didn't. I mean, unless you guys know, because you guys definitely played way more Survivor than I did. Like that Zepho, like the Zepho like theme was kind of, I feel like, dropped, and Survivor are really toned down.
Yeah.
Compared, so maybe they are gearing up to maybe make a live action appearance, and also, you know, they talk about it more in the second episode. But when they were talking about another like universe or another dimension, like my mind instantly went to the Yuzon Vong. Like, do you guys think we could like see maybe possibly like maybe they mix like Zepho and Yuzon Vong kind of like together and make like a whole other like species or something like that, which I thought would be cool.
Recently, I heard that apparently Dave Filoni wanted to add the Yuzong Vong into the Clone Wars, like just as like a little cameo of like spies, kind of like looking out at something, and then they like go back to wherever they come from. So I think it's definitely in his mind somewhere. So it's not the worst possibility or idea.
Yeah. Well, also, I don't know about you guys, but I don't have any previous, besides like the way Lightspeed works, I have no previous knowledge of there being like any other universes outside of theirs. Like this is the first time I'm hearing. Is that like the first time we've all ever heard of it, like canonically?
I think so. I'm trying to think like if there's any,
because I've never seen anything of expand. Like even Palpatine, like he went to like the Outer Rim, but like he didn't go to like he could have went to a whole nother universe, solar system thing, not even solar system, like a whole nother parallel.
Exegol was in the unknown regions, I think.
Yeah.
So are the unknown regions like part of these other universes? Like maybe that's what they are.
it's beyond the charted galaxy in Star Wars.
Gotcha. Okay.
Well,
That's
I feel like
why Rey
That's
needed
why
the Wayfinder to like navigate through the storm
So I
or
don't-
whatever.
it might not be as far as like another whole galaxy, but it might be like
Yeah.
an in-between
Because
section.
there's so much space in between. Like if anyone knows anything about like actual space, like I love space. To get to like one side, to get to a universe to that other universe, like if that scale is just taken exactly and shrunken down, that's freaking far, dude. That's
Yeah.
like millions of light years away.
Yeah, I was
Now they have a
reading.
big hyperspace ring to do it with.
dude, that thing's
Yeah.
massive. I was like, Halo.
yeah.
I was like, what?
It's for the Chimera. It has to be.
So we have a ring and we have a new covenant. That's
Yeah.
interesting.
they're gonna introduce they all have to fight the flood. That's what it's gonna be.
3.0.
This is how Halo starts.
Yeah,
Yeah.
what are you doing,
Messages
Chief?
from
Finishing
Halo.
this fight.
But no, because I imagined what the unknown regions kind of were kind of like how we saw the Kessel Run in Solo, where it's a lot of like clouds and like debris. Like there's a lot of like there's monsters in the cloud. There's like debris from like all the exploding like ships and Death Star parts. It's like all that stuff's got to go somewhere. Like
Yeah.
not all of it'll land on a planet, or like it's got to go like out.
Just keep drifting.
That
Yeah.
dude, that totally reminds me too. Is I don't know where I saw. I think it was a screenshot or something where I noticed it. I noticed in the show, but when they're all on that cliffside and they open up like all the stuff, there's actually like a caveman style drawing of what looks like that monster from Solo. I don't remember what they're called, but it has like the tentacles with like a head.
Oh
Just
yeah.
because you had said that, and I'm like, oh yeah. So it's like,
Isn't-
maybe that's what that is.
Hmm.
That creepy monster that tries to eat him.
Wait, where did you see it?
It was like in the project. It was like on one of like a thick ring of like the hologram. I didn't.
Oh,
see it
that was
in
a
the
Purgle.
show.
I think those are Purgles. Yeah.
Are
Yeah.
those Purgles?
Yeah, probably. 'Cause that's
I was like,
basically
either
the
one
whole
or
theme
two.
of
Well,
Rebels
'cause
in this.
We also saw one.
Yeah, like you see a shadow of one when he's like looking up. Well,
I'm
you
like,
hear the
"Okay."
sound of it too. Like you hear the,
Face
and I didn't even catch it at first because he looks up and I was like, oh, he probably just saw one, but I wasn't like scanning the clouds and stuff like that until I saw like a Easter egg thing and it was saying like, oh yeah, you can see like a shape of it, and they like hyper zoom into it and like get like a big red circle. I'm like, oh okay, yeah, now I see it.
It takes red for seeing space whales. Seeing how it is.
I always
Yeah.
forget they have tentacles because I think whale. I'm like, whales don't have tentacles.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, there we go.
I wonder if
We're wrong.
because Scion was like an ancient Sith Lord
Yeah.
who like held himself
yeah.
together with the Force because he like got like diced a million times and
Mhm.
basically Darth Mauled himself times like 10. But I wonder if that has because they've done that a little bit. Like I know in Rise of Skywalker they refer to like Revan, and I think another Jedi maybe was I know it was Revan and somebody else, but I'm blanking on but like one of the fleets was named like Revan or something like that. If I remember correctly, like they brought it into canon that
Oh.
Revan was a
Oh
I
yeah,
don't remember.
and
canonically.
it was in a book, just like every other bit of sequel knowledge we have. But
Oh,
one of
okay,
the-
that's what it was. Yeah.
one of the Sith Trooper divisions, or a couple of them, were named after ancient Sith from the Old Republic. So one of
Oh,
them was
that's
named like
cool.
Tenebris, the other one was named
Yeah, yeah,
Revan.
That's,
So that's-
really cool.
That's the canonized version. But I know Dave wanted to bring Revan into the Clone Wars at some point too. So
Mortis.
Dude, I mean,
Yep.
Mortis Arc,
Hype
yeah.
for that.
hopefully we get maybe something with what's the Acolyte. I'm like my mind is not
I
here
hope
today. I'm
so,
like
man.
hopefully we get a little Revan. Obviously he's like way before Acolyte, but maybe we can get some Sith holocrons or something
Yeah.
like that. Dude, I want to see, that's one thing about the Old Republic games. Like a lot of like those first missions, you're like diving into like you're on Korriban and you're diving into the catacombs. Like I hope Acolyte kind of just little Acolyte rant. Like I hope we kind of dive into that a little bit. Maybe get some like Sith kind of, because they can't do the Force Ghost, but they can like project themselves into like an object or something like that. I hope
Yeah.
we kind of get some of that. I think
Mhm.
that'll be sick. But going back to Ahsoka, because this is talking about Ahsoka, not Acolyte. What
Exactly.
this is pretty controversial, and I know I say pretty controversial. It's not that, but I know we kind of loosely talked about it. But how do you guys feel about the saber stab? Because I personally I was like, I don't really care, but for some reason it just rubs me the wrong way. I'm just like, it's like the same thing in Kenobi when Kenobi is like saving Leia from like the torture device. And he's like hitting the stormtroopers, but it's like a baseball bat. He's like swinging, and it's not a like
Cal Kestis style.
Yeah, I'm just like, with Cal, it makes a little bit more sense. The video game, you got to have a health bar, but like,
imagine he does that in live action though.
Dude, that would be honestly
the health bar appears.
Only the podcast was in here.
But I'm curious to see because like I said, it's really a nitpick for me. Like, it's not the end of the world. Like, technology has advanced. She was able to be like Ahsoka was right there to be able to take her to the medical facility. I'm like Qui-Gon. Like, the stab wasn't as crazy as like Qui-Gon stab. Like, I went back and watched because I was like, man, she got stabbed like right in the same place that Qui-Gon got stabbed. I went back and watched that scene. No, that dude gets stabbed like straight in the gut. Like, and like he like jiggles it a little bit, stuff like that. He's like blending it, So Qui-Gon got it a little worse, but
knows how to do his blades.
Yeah, so. I'm just like, man, I don't know. It just rubs me the wrong way for some reason. But
I mean, just aren't as strong.
Speaking of the Phantom Menace, like, I know the Qui-Gon scene gets brought up all the time, but let's not forget that like not even 5 minutes after, Darth Maul gets cut in half and survived. And I know it's because his hate in the dark side helped him survive or whatever. And it's an okay reason, but like I think the other thing to consider is like it's fiction. I want to see more Sabine, so who really cares? But that's where the part with Reva comes in, and like that just doesn't make any sense because she was a Jedi Padawan. How is she able to develop that level of hate? Yeah. So
I'll do a video on my own about that. That's
okay. I have two things on it. First off, just being because I get pretty nitpicky about saber combat or in general like swords and stuff because I've practiced real swords, obviously sabers and everything. And I guess the only little thing, maybe it's just too nitpicky, but like every time I rewatch it, I'm like, she had so much time to like swing down, and she just didn't. I know it's dumb, but that's I don't know. I get nitpicky with that.
Remember who's in here as well? Someone who's worked a lot with those, and I'm like, okay, they're doing this.
Yeah.
They're doing this.
And then the second thing, and on its own, I don't mind it, like getting stabbed and being able to survive. Like if you get stabbed and like it's a solid hole, like if you think of like bullets and stuff, like bullets bounce around and like people still survive. And it also cauterizes you, like that's okay. So in instances, I'm like, okay, I understand. But the biggest thing, obviously, I'm a big sequels fan, Kylo fan, everything. I just it rubs me a little wrong way because so many people were so like butthurt when like Kylo got stabbed and he survived, and we're just like use that as a big thing of like, oh, the sequels were bad. That's one of the reasons the sequels are so bad. But all the same people now are like silent about it. And I'm like, how are y'all gonna do that?
Yeah, but Rey was there.
That's not.
Well, to me, they explained it better because she could heal. She could heal him. So, like to me, I was like, oh, okay, because like she has, like, I wish they would have explained her force healing a little bit more. But like the fact that she could force heal explained that. Like, I
agree with that, but people still found a way to complain about it.
People find it, especially Star Wars.
Yeah, that's everything.
They'll find something
especially Star Wars. There's like.
I guess overall, the only downside to having that happen is like we know she's a main character and we know people survive. So like, kind of what's the point of having her get stabbed in the first place? Like, okay, you're like, oh, she got stabbed. Oh, it's in the side. Oh, she's gonna live. Okay. So
also, she could have done. They could have done like a million. Like she could have lost like a hand. Like Luke, like Vader, like very traditional. Like she could have been force pushed. Like. Ahsoka could have come in and like a force push shit. Like there could have been like a million options but they went with the saber stab, and I was just like, "There's like you literally have a million options, dude. Like what? Why?
Yeah, I wonder if it's foreshadowing.
I do see that
something.
point.
I don't know what
foreshadowing.
I wonder if that could be like foreshadowing something that's going to happen later on because there's a very fast moment that happens and it gets corrected immediately in episode 2. So I wonder if it was just a small thing that they put in our heads, and maybe it's foreshadowing something later on.
She's gonna
I
get
don't know.
stabbed again.
Hmm.
On the other side.
Well, I mean, the other thing though,
armor.
you might be onto something. Yeah, because in the trailers we see them fight again, and Sabine's wearing her armor.
Yeah.
So like, what if
That's
that's
right.
like the ultimate moment? She goes for a lethal blow again, but the armor blocks it, and then she like boom beheads Shin. She's
That's
gone.
true.
No,
Yeah.
don't do that.
Yeah.
Don't do that to the girl Shin.
Also, I don't get the trend of like, I don't think she's that hot. Like I've seen that all
Bro,
over Instagram and
what?
TikTok. Like,
You tripping, bro.
You know,
I
like
don't know.
Shin Hottie?
Shin Hottie? Yeah,
Yeah.
bro, Hottie.
No, it's just, yeah. Weird.
This whole show has a
Look,
trend of, like, people
sometimes
loving the
people
character
like
that.
a little bit of dark women in their life and crazy.
Bizarre.
oh, I
you
don't
know?
I don't have an issue with that, man. I don't have an issue with that. It's just, she doesn't do it for me. But
Me
Oh,
neither.
well.
Me neither. I don't. Yeah.
I mean,
Went from
listen,
stabbing-
you're putting her up against Ahsoka, Hera, and Sabine.
That's true.
And out of all those just
Hera,
freaking
dude?
10 out of 10 women, all y'all are thirsting over Shin Hottie?
What has this podcast turned
How did we
into?
get here?
I
There's
don't
a talk about
What is
it
happening?
Welcome to the Star Wars podcast.
I was here. I was definitely here for Hera. I was definitely
Yeah,
here.
Hera.
Oh,
Hey,
yeah.
Hey man,
I didn't
I'm
even
not
go into that.
saying
Oh.
that she's better than Hera or Ahsoka or
Good luck
Sabine.
with
I'm
that.
just saying she's up there with it. She's a contender.
But
I
have
mean,
you
that's-
seen Hera?
I have seen. Yes.
It just
Which-
doesn't.
My thing with Hera, I actually like, because a lot of people had problems with Hera. My only thing with Hera is they picked an actress that's like way too tall. She's taller than like everybody. And Hera in the, I get it, it's animated, like who cares? But she's taller than like everybody. And like in the show, she's not. I don't think she's that tall. But
Yeah, Vanessa Marshall, the voice. I'll try and reel this in. Is yeah, she was a bit. Yeah, she was shorter than Kanan. Kanan barely came up to Ezra at times and stuff like that. So, yeah.
it's a nitpick. But I was just
Yeah,
like, it's noticeable when like
Yeah.
she's standing around the other characters, and I'm just like,
Yeah.
something kind of feels off. I'm like, And I thought they also didn't get her Montreal like detail. I was like, bro, how are they just gonna leave it plain? But and then another, when she's sitting on the back of like the cargo thing, you can see it. It's just really light.
Yeah.
But
yeah, speaking of like the characters and who they're played by, is like, what did you guys think about Ezra? Like, we haven't seen him that much, obviously, but like when I was rewatching it today, I was like, I kind of had a different realization. I was like, I think they picked like a really good actor for him. Like
He looks
his
like him.
movements
Yeah.
and stuff, and he looks obviously older, but yeah, I mean, I think
That was
they
good.
picked really well for
For
Ezra.
sure.
I think they
Sounds-
nailed
sounds
everybody,
like-
man.
Sounds like him too.
Yeah.
Dude.
Because I know I have like a friend on TikTok that he's done like every version of Ezra because it changes so much. So I know some people had like issues with just that side of it. But I'm like, I think that it looks perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah, from
It's-
what we've
it's
seen,
felt
for
good.
sure. Like, well, I think we'll definitely have to see more, and hopefully we get more of him than just like that. I'm sure we will, but
Yeah.
but yeah, from what I can see from a holograph, like I mean, like you were saying, it looks spot on, man. Like
Yeah.
I think they nailed him.
I'm gonna need more if I'm a cosplayer. So
right. How do you guys feel? We've kind of loosely talked about this, kind of going into the second episode, but how do you feel about the multiple universes? Because this is kind of a new thing that's being introduced. You know, it's always been in a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away, but it's never been in like multiple galaxies. I guess it does say a galaxy. It doesn't like mention like, but like that's a new thing. Like, what do you guys think about that?
It's new territory. It's cool. I mean, maybe out there somewhere is the Milky Way galaxy, you know?
That'd be cool, man.
Because
we don't exist yet, but
it makes even more sense now because what was it, in episode 1, I think ET's species was sitting in the Senate
They did
chamber,
friends up.
Yeah.
you know? So
Yeah,
But also, it does say far, far away. So what's the reference point here?
yeah.
yeah.
Is it us?
Exactly.
My
I guess
God.
it would be us.
Yeah.
It's us.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
Well, there's that comic too where Han Solo and Chewbacca like crash on Earth, and then Chewbacca becomes like Sasquatch and is hunted by like Indiana Jones. And I always loved that comic. It was so
Yeah.
silly.
Yeah. That's a fun one.
Yeah.
The one I've also heard one that's I don't think it's a comic, but I think someone just said it. I think it went like Indiana Jones are like the stories that or the dreams Han Solo had when he was frozen in carbonite.
Yeah. I did hear that. Yeah, that's cool. I
Full
like that.
Matrix moment.
I like that. That's cool.
Yeah, it's a pretty cool thing. Again, I went back and listened to like the new like Thrawn trilogy and everything like that. And I was up to getting ready to start on Treason, but like on like him and Vader's little side quest they do in between Rebels, ironically, and everything. Yeah, they were talking about like what's out there and all that sort of jazz. So if this is like an old nod to that and everything, of quite possibly, I mean, poor Thrawn's out there with he's just hanging out there on the Chimera, what's left of it, surrounded by space whales. And it's like, guys, help, come on. So yeah, I'm not opposed to it, long story short.
It's crazy to see how powerful like the Night Sisters are, that she can literally hear him across like time and space. Like, you gotta
think
have some
it's
power.
him, though? Do you think it's him because he's not force sensitive, so he doesn't really have a way to project anything like that out? That's
But
what
maybe
I
he's
was
just saying it.
wondering.
Like, he's just shouting it into the ether.
Yeah.
He's just like, "Hey, I'm here!
Come on, I'm
Can
out here
anybody
forever.
hear me?"
Help! Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's just what it is as well. It's and plus learn that the big bombshell of turns out Dathomir Witch, another one survived.
Yeah, man.
And seeing that live action stuff again, I'll never get over that. And the fact that that's Dan Inosanto's kid that's related to Bruce, I can't get over that.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I think that's what that was, especially opening that the orb and talking Balin talking about power and what that could allude to, whether it's a physical thing or whether it's just something that makes him feel better again, going back to I don't know. It's pretty cool to think about.
Yeah, and also I don't know, maybe I just didn't realize, but I didn't. I know we're talking about second episode, but in the first, like we see that. I'm assuming it's the same ability Cal has. Is that Ahsoka can sense force echoes because she's walking?
Yeah.
And she's like, can you hear what was happening? When she's
I think it's
in
like a
the-
lighter version. I don't think she can
Yeah.
like physically see. Maybe she can hear the echo, but she can't
Mhm.
like Cal can like see like the whole scene
Yeah,
play
yeah.
out. Like he's like True Detective, when he comes and he touches
Yeah,
something, he sees
exactly,
like the
right.
whole
But
thing.
that was cool. That was cool to see. I'm like, oh, okay, that's new. Like,
Heck yeah.
character
Yeah.
development.
I wanted to bring that up too because I wonder if there's going to be some sort of parallel going on because she kind of sees stuff in the past, but then in episode 2, Balin's kind of when they're in that like weird misty hologram type of thing, he's just like, "Oh, Ahsoka's coming" or something. So I wonder if he like can see a bit into the future. So I wonder if there's like some sort
Yeah.
of duality there.
They're a dyad.
They're a dyad in the Force. It was also great to see Corellia again, man. I know Corellia is supposed to be like some like industrial planet that's like gross and it's like, dude, every time I see Corellia, I'm just like, this planet looks cool as hell. You see the Star Destroyers being disassembled or built and Solo, like it just looks like it's like an industrial planet. It looks like so like I don't know why it's like they're not really doing anything crazy. They're just building ships, but like I don't know why like they nailed the industrial look of Corellia, which I thought was cool.
It must suck to be those employees there though, because you spent your whole life building them and now you have to disassemble them.
Yeah, like these motherfuckers can't make up their mind. Like, what the hell is this?
Yeah.
Oh, and how much of a bonehead move was that guy? He just starts for the Empire. I'm like, I'm like, my guy, you're going up against a Jedi. Maybe the element of surprise, like you're already at a disadvantage. So like maybe surprise is more of a, it cracks
that
me up.
move, yeah, that was not well timed at all.
But
Or
I
purpose.
wanted to get y'all's opinion on the, we don't really know, besides the Inquisitor's name, we don't really know much about the Inquisitor other than he looks cool. But like, man, I know that supposedly, because I looked it up, like supposedly the 8th brother died when he fell. But the dude has really rusty armor and looks exactly like him. The only thing that's different, like we were talking about before the podcast went live, is that the finger thing. He doesn't have I think like the guy is like an alien and he has like 3 or 4 fingers instead of
Yeah,
like,
and there's no way the eighth brother's feet could fit into a human shoe.
yeah, right.
He's just got like 2 big toes on each foot. There's no way those fit into a human shoe.
But I wonder if they're like either they're rebranding him or if like something's going on with that guy, because supposedly all the Inquisitors died before A New Hope. Like that was like the thing. Oh, bye TC. See you later. Like died before A New Hope.
Yeah.
You know, so like for somebody to like survive that long, like I'm like, what's
That's my question. Is because so I was looking up like to see if anyone made any cosplay stuff, and there was one person that like his armor is like really similar to the whole. I think like one of the very few differences is obviously the helmet and then like the spike on the shoulder, but he has like almost the same armor as the Grand Inquisitor. So I'm curious, is like maybe he is like the Inquisitor, like maybe he's the Grand Inquisitor now because he's the only one. That's probably. I'm like, why else would he? Because she could have hired probably just Balin and Shin and like been okay, but
use that nice sister magic.
Also has a Inquisitor. So I'm like, he's probably a beast. Like he's got to have something up his sleeve that's.
Yeah, there's no exactly. Yeah, like they bought him in there for a reason. And why he, not doing that, why that? And also, I did see the credits of the voice sound, and I was like, yeah, but yeah, if it's who I think it is, and since he voiced him,
yeah.
And then if they do a reaction to that, just like the slice and like the helmet comes off, I will lose my mind.
Vader Part 3.
How will y'all feel if it is Starkiller?
Sam?
Personally, I don't know if I'm feeling it.
It doesn't have to be.
It'll ruin Kestis, so me and Nick are out.
Yeah, and we signed some NDAs, so we can't really say on this.
Cal he just Shark Tanked it. He's just like, and with that, I'm out.
It doesn't even have to be Starkiller or Galen Merrick. All it has to be is just Sam Witwer for a split little second, then he just dies.
I will be cool.
I would want him to die though.
Yeah,
I know. Trust me. The man who never ages. I love that man to death, and he's done some amazing charitable things I can never thank him enough for. But
heck yeah,
he's always with Dave Filoni. His name was in the credits. I wouldn't be surprised if for some reason.
Yeah,
I mean, they were thinking about it in Rebels. Like he talks about it in one of his like little things. He's like, yeah,
that's crazy.
So it could be.
I really don't think it's him.
I would love it.
I mean, I hope it's not him. Just because I hope maybe he's doing something else, or maybe he's just supplying the voice or something like that.
Maybe
just because he's too epic. He's too epic just to be put as an Inquisitor, in my opinion. You know,
I do think
Starkiller still. Like if he's still the same character, just when Inquisitor.
No. I don't buy it because
it could be a clone of him too. He might not be like
the clone. Oh, that would be cool because they do the cloning in the second game.
And,
that would be
in
interesting.
Mandalorian we saw cloning too. So like there's something going on.
Personally, I don't think it's Ezra, but if I have to lean towards it being anyone, I definitely lean towards Ezra because I don't think that Ezra is going to be the same person that we saw him as in season 4 of Rebels. I think that'd be a mistake, honestly. Like how do you get completely separated from everyone you know and love and have to spend like the next 5 years? What is it? 10 years?
That's a
10
lot,
years?
yeah. Because it starts like he like vanishes like right before A New Hope.
Yeah.
So,
How are you going to spend the next 10 years of your life with Grand Admiral Thrawn in the unknown regions and still be the same like happy-go-lucky Jedi? There's no way.
Besties, they're like best friends.
Yeah, they're cooking meals together every night, watching movies.
Like I would not be surprised. I'm talking out of my butt here, but think about how cool this would be. I would not be surprised if the final battle of this show is Ahsoka versus Ezra.
Oh man,
dude.
Yeah.
That would be
calling that right here. We're gonna come back at the last round.
I'm calling it right now.
God damn it, Wes.
That's what I'm going with.
The first episode.
I think I could somewhat get on board with that too, because I don't think we're gonna see as much of Thrawn as maybe people would hope in this season. I think he's gonna be a lot all next season, but I think we're just gonna see him maybe the last 2 at most episodes, and then maybe that's when we also get Ezra, and then it just ends on that huge cliffhanger because Filoni like loves to do that to us.
Dave is doing that movie, man. We don't know what the movie's about, but we know it's a tie-in to everything that's been going on. So maybe like Thrawn's the big baddie, and like they drop Ezra being bad, and then like the movie's the next thing, you know?
Yeah,
like,
we know he connects all his stuff, so it's like it's gonna go almost like it's gonna directly tie in well because it's him. So.
And the more I think about it too, and Ezra did hang out with Maul in that Sith holocron for a little bit. Oh my god, just thinking about that now.
I don't think the Inquisitor is him though, but like if I had to choose for it to be
that's
someone,
just the cool twist. I'm 1,000% Sam Witwer. Love that man. But just thinking about that now, like it being Ezra and just them like fighting, and all of a sudden, yeah.
Well, the other thing too is. Oh, I would hate that, but it gives me a reason to make his cosplay, though, so I'd be down for that reason.
I don't know why.
I love that reaction. You're like, I would hate that.
But I mean, there's definitely like some grit with that man, the Inquisitor, because every Inquisitor that we've seen Ahsoka go up against, like she wipes them out.
Yeah,
like it's no competition. And this guy, I mean, she did flex on him at the end with the little like shoulder move there.
Badass.
Yeah,
but like
sick.
he did put up a better fight than any Inquisitor we've seen.
And we do know they
against
fight
Ahsoka.
Again because the trailer. So
well, he's definitely tactical because he sends the HK droid and that he like circles. He takes like a wider parameter before he engages with her.
Yeah,
you know, which I feel like Inquisitors would just like be like, rush in, I'm gonna kill the Jedi, whereas he looks like he's planning his next move. And I think it was it Mike, was it you that sent the like,
yeah,
he's like, I have this idea, and then he like just like dips that meme
running.
It's like, oh well, I think about this.
But that makes me think, and I don't know if you guys thought this was going to happen or not, but if you thought it was, because there was mixed opinions on it, there's still mixed opinion on it. I thought he was going to. Would you guys be opposed to seeing him fly with his saber? Because I thought he was going to take off.
I thought when he started spinning it, I was ready. I was ready for it.
I was hyped to see it. I thought he was going to fly up to the ship, and I was like,
I think Dave said that only could happen on that planet because of the Force connectivity with the planet. I think it's because of the he probably just pulled that out of his butt. But
yeah, he's just talking to appease fans. That's
Force jumping is like You know,
I swear they did it on Gorel though, in that one episode with like the little when
they did.
Zeb was collecting. Yeah, I knew it. Yeah,
Dave Filoni, you lying fool.
Yeah, I knew what was it? The seventh sister and the fifth brother. I think they were both going after them. Yeah, I knew it.
Yeah, good call, Nick.
To me, it's just a little silly because, like, for instance, I'll pull another animated show out of the hat and be like, in the 2003 Clone Wars. Now, granted, that's where all the Force powers are cranked up to like 11, and it is Mace Windu, so you know, take that with that one.
Right.
But dude, he jumps like a freaking 80 football fields away from the battle, and I know it's like stylized, it's not real, but like they do have like Force jump that they can jump like way higher. Like Obi-Wan jumps from like the bottom column to the top column in Phantom Menace when he gets knocked down, you know, like they have like, and I imagine like the Inquisitors might not be on that range of power, but they could jump relatively higher than the average person.
Not to mention we saw, it wasn't the same, but like Ahsoka in season 7, when she's like racing to the surface, like she's jumping everywhere.
Yeah.
So, we literally saw her do it, and then she's in this show. So, like, there's going to be some stuff about that.
You know what else is crazy? I think in the second battle of Geonosis in the Clone Wars, like, when they jump off that giant wall, Anakin straight up uses the Force to stop himself.
Yeah.
Like, you see that? Like, he, Iron Man's and lands and then catches Rex. Like, why have we not seen that anywhere else? Because that would be crazy useful. Like, Mace Windu, hello, where you at? Boba season 2.
I'm assuming they're literally doing that, like, every time they Force jump. Because, like, if you jump up, you're going to, like, you can use Force jump up, but you got to use the stop, or else the Force isn't going to stop you from breaking your leg. Like,
that's what they do in Battlefront, too, I think, right?
Yeah, Rey and Kylo, do it. And I think even in maybe it was just a visual thing. I don't know if like the original Battlefront 2 is canon, but if I'm remembering correctly, Palpatine, like when you play as him, he like literally floats like around the map.
Yeah.
So they can like
Well,
hover.
I think Vader's done it too, where he's kind of like softened his blows by kind of like hovering a little bit. You know, like they've kind of they definitely need to branch out with their force. Maybe they don't do it because it's more expensive. You know, like you gotta like get like wires and stuff like that, or
You got
VFX or
money.
something. Yeah.
Ahsoka did a backflip though.
She did.
Straight up backflip.
Got the superhero landing, the backflips, man. She's pulling out all the stops. To kind of wrap this up, I wanted to ask you guys a few more questions. But do you guys think we're gonna get Kanan in some capacity? Like we got him in Rise of Skywalker as a Force ghost. You know, like do you guys think we're gonna get him as or sorry, Force voice, not ghost, but do you guys think we're gonna get him in some capacity anywhere in the
As a
show?
Loth Wolf.
I think definitely
That would be cool.
I think definitely Force voice. I think there's a best opportunity to do a Force ghost. Who knows if they will, because there's already so much stuff. Like I think Ezra's the main, like find him and like everything. So not to say Kanan's not important anymore, but he's kind of like his story ended.
He's out.
I don't know how much we'll get at him, but I definitely think we'll get like a Force voiced. Who knows? Like will he talk to Ahsoka? Will he talk to?
He could talk to Ezra.
I would not be opposed. I don't know. Yeah, I wouldn't be opposed to it, but I do remember when Bad Batch was playing, that voice actor saying that he was no need for that and that he didn't really want to come back anymore. But if they did,
but they all say that.
If they did do it, I would not be opposed to it because I loved that character and the guy out there, HFP, does amazing Star Wars tributes, and he did one. I was like, I need Ninja to stop it. But
Sam Witwer just voice him. He voices everybody.
Yeah, he honestly probably could do it. And then when do you guys think we're gonna get Anakin? What episode? Because we're getting him. Like, what episode do you think we're getting him?
Either,
and I know they said.
I don't like. It's hard to kind of pinpoint, but it's like we kind of have a little hunch of where it can go. I think we're gonna get a few, kind of like action-y kind of episodes where a lot of things are happening. But my guess, I don't know, because I was looking at the director list of who directed each episode, and I think Dave Filoni did 2 of them. And I think one of them was episode 5. So my feeling feels like it's going to be episode 5. Like, I don't know how the sequence is going to be, or like if Sabine and Ahsoka are having a moment, or like she's asking about her past, or Ahsoka's kind of thinking back to a moment where her and Anakin were training, and then we kind of see that moment where maybe he was teaching her a specific move and she's kind of using it now again in the show or something. That's kind of my personal gut feeling, but who knows? It could be episode 3 or for all I know, but we'll have to wait and see.
We'll definitely have flashbacks. Do you think there's any chance we'll see his Force ghost?
I'm hoping for that over a flashback.
Same. I kind of want to see Force Ghost Anakin.
Because I sent you guys that. I feel so dumb that like that trailer wasn't real. I was at Disneyland and my friends were like, "Did you see the new trailer?" And
we were all scrambling.
I know. We're like, "Where is it?"
Where is it? After seeing that, though, like we were all sitting at this little table, like everyone probably thought we were crazy. We're all, But that got me hyped. From like, dude, I want to see his Force Ghost, man.
Stay tuned.
Yeah, my call. I probably say
finding something.
I'd probably say episode 4 or 5 for Anakin.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I think like I've seen some people saying that like they think they're, or maybe it was in this chat in the group chat, but that they think like his voice line in the TV spot that we saw is like the extent, and it's just gonna be his voice. I don't think that they would give the big Anakin moment away, even if it was just his voice, like in a trailer. Yeah. So I think we'll definitely see him. I would love to see both Clone Wars and Force Ghost, but if I had to pick one, like Force Ghost for me, I need to see a scene where Ahsoka like finds closure on that whole part of her past, and that she can finally move on. Because one of the things that, and I'll be okay if it doesn't happen, but one of the things I would love to see is if Ahsoka like just straight up rebranded the Jedi at the end of the series and was really taking charge, and like, because let's be real, like we love Luke, but he abandons the Jedi Order, like that's canon, and Ahsoka I feel, since Rebels has come out, has been the best example of what a Jedi should be. So if anyone rebrands the Order, it's her.
Yeah.
And I don't think she can do that without a certain amount of closure from the moment in the Jedi Order that scarred her the most. And it's got to come from Anakin.
I totally agree, because the parallel you see, her relationship with Anakin parallels her relationship with Sabine super well. And so I feel like even like what we've seen, how she talks and interacts with Sabine, she's not like she's, I would say she's worse than Anakin. Like Anakin and her were like closer, and her and Sabine right now aren't really like on the best terms, but she definitely needs some like, hey, like you can do this, you can teach her, like it's gonna be fine. Like I went through the same struggles with you, so you got to go through it with Sabine. So yeah, I totally agree with that. That'd be awesome to see.
Yep. Force. Yeah, I'm struggling to keep that, because Denver and meeting Hayden was an amazing experience.
Yeah.
He let some things may or may not slip. Just it's all fun and games until the chosen one enters, and everybody's like,
dude, I don't even know how I'm gonna handle it. Like when I see that, like in any whatever capacity he come, and like as long as it's not just a voiceover, because if it's a voiceover, I'm kind of gonna be salty. That's gonna be my reaction. But if it's anything other than a voiceover, dude, I imagine it's gonna be like me seeing Luke in the last season of Mando, where I'm just like, I just melted, like
just
butter,
waited
dude.
so long.
Yeah. So, you guys think we're gonna see Luke at all? Or do you think they're just gonna? I think there's too many. I think there's too many pots in the kitchen, or however the saying goes.
I think it's more likely we'd see Mando than Luke, if anything.
Oh, that'd be kind of cool.
I was curious if he's gonna make a cameo, but I was like, I don't know if Mando's like a cameo guy. Like he's like the main character always. Like I think maybe people would be like, this is just a Boba Fett thing again, where Mando takes over. But
Mando's like, I am in every episode of every TV show. Mando,
I would maybe
3.5.
boycott season 4 if that happened. Like if he came in and just took over Ahsoka Show, I'm like, I'm done. It's not like we're getting a Kylo Ren show after this. So there goes my top 2 characters just taken over by Din Djarin, bruh. Oh my gosh, you would never hear the end of this ginger. Oh no.
Oh yeah, I didn't even think about that, because they used in Rebels, they did the holocron.
Oh
They showed the really crappy version of looking at Anakin. He looks so bad, dude.
They did use that animation. That's right.
Yeah,
Imagine that's what we got.
Yeah.
Oh, please, God. Oh, you want to enrage people. But I really think that's all. We're at about an hour and 17.
Wait, I got one more thing. I got one more thing.
As well.
Are we seeing Captain Rex?
I don't
better.
think so.
I don't think so
I want
either,
it,
but we better. If not this season, next season.
Wait, is Ahsoka only one season, or are we getting another one?
I think
they never said it's a limited series like Kenobi. So
I really think it's going to be one though, and then it's going to carry into the movie. Like that's how I'm feeling. It's going to be.
But the thing is, they still. Yeah, I guess that kind of makes sense, because I know they're still wanting to push out season 4 of Mando before then, I believe. So I don't think we're going to be seeing the movie for like until like 2026 or 7.
Yeah, I think it'll really also depend on the strikes too that are going on right now.
Right.
Like that's delaying everything. So it could be I don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah, I hope so. I mean, Tamora Morrison's the perfect age. Just give him a beard, dude, and he's good. He needs some redemption. I can tell he's a little heated from Boba Fett, so he needs a little.
Yeah,
as he should be.
Yeah, as he should be, 100%, 100%.
Yeah, I guess the last thing is just like an overarching topic is obviously like when the Rise of Skywalker came out, that was like the end of the Skywalker saga, and so I know for me, I was like, oh, like that's cool. I'm excited to see new things, but like Star Wars is based around the Skywalkers, obviously mostly Anakin, mostly Luke, but yeah, I will say that all that fear is kind of gone, because I'm really happy that even though that main storyline is ended, we're still seeing like so much connection to it, and I just think that that's what's really keeping Star Wars going. Not to say like, it would die or anything, but a lot of stuff has come out, has been kind of like people have had mixed feelings, and I think that connection to it, I'm really happy about it. But I think it's good that they're still keeping a lot of that Skywalker saga feel into everything and correlating everything like directly to that stuff. So I'm happy about that.
Heck yeah. And I want go
Oh,
back
sorry.
to this. Yeah, sorry, I'm gonna just so I don't lose my thought. Go back to this. I really hope that they retcon the acceleration thing, not
Okay.
retconning it in the fact that like I feel like after like I feel like the Kaminoans could have been like they're aged up until like a certain point and then they go back to like regular, like it fades. So they age like a normal person after like 20 or something like that.
Mhm.
I mean,
know something about
it would
this.
make sense. We saw Obi-Wan in the Obi-Wan show. Like he didn't look much different. That clone, like he,
Yeah.
he looked a little older, but
And
Rex is in Return of the Jedi canonically.
Yeah.
Dave Filoni did put him in there, and this does take place.
And then it's like 10 years after, so maybe he'd be like 70.
And he took
60,
the
something
chip
like that.
out, so I imagine that would knock out the accelerated age and stuff like that.
Well, we know Filoni does the retconning of stuff all the time, so hopefully he retcons that. But
Yeah,
Wes,
'cause,
sorry, man, I interrupted you. So what were you gonna?
Well, I'm sorry to break all our hearts, Charlie, but Dave actually like pulled his statement on canonizing Rex in Return of the Jedi. I don't know if you saw that.
Oh, really?
Did he really?
He did. Yeah, he because like if you look at all his action figures and stuff, it's still like Nick Santo or whatever his name is, and I think he decided to leave it ambiguous because there were original trilogy fans who didn't like that decision, but there are prequel fans who loved it. So he was just kind of like, "You decide."
My
That's what I
head
saw in
canon
an
is it
article.
was Rex.
Thank you.
Yeah, same
Exactly.
here. Same here.
Return
thing
Super
about-
That
Saiyan
sucks
second.
though. That makes my heart go. Aw.
The thing
Yeah,
about his age
it
too,
hurts.
though, is Bo-Katan. She's like high 50s in The Mandalorian, and we see how she fights. So I don't think age is that much of a problem. I don't know. Maybe Mandalorians
Yeah.
age differently, but
Also, when
gang.
you're a
Not that.
warrior, your warrior spirit kind of never. And he was like literally bred to be a
Yeah.
warrior from like the best warrior in the galaxy. So maybe we could let the fiction.
yeah, I don't think age is that big of an issue.
Yeah, who cares?
But
I mean, I'm still part of the 2% club, so I mean,
hey, 2% gang. Nick, did you have any Easter eggs?
Sure.
Okay,
Sure,
hold on.
I have a few written down.
Yeah.
I've been waiting for that to
yeah, that's so sick.
last.
So in the opening shot, when Balin and Shin come on their transport, there's a few T-70 X-wings in the hangar, which are the same ones as the Resistance. So I mean, they're slowly starting to phase out the T-65s, but we still see them in different other shots, so they're not all gone yet. I didn't find this out, but I don't know if any of you follow For the Lore on Instagram, but he basically finds screen used props. And like the first day after this came out, he found what they used for the star map, and it's called a Megaminx puzzle ball. It's basically like a really sophisticated Rubik's cube, and they just did what they had to and made it gold and stuff.
Interesting.
Yeah. I think they're on sale right now. I think they're already out of stock though, but they were only like 20 or 30
makes
bucks.
sense.
There are some green marked X-wings in the Home 1 hangar, which is cool to see. We got to see Home 1 again. But those are Hera's Green Squad from Rebels, probably.
That's
I'm
awesome.
assuming. A lot of the New Republic astromechs are SK units, which are the same astromechs that roll around the Star Cruiser Halcyon. So that was cool. Ryder Azadi from Rebels.
Hey,
He was
Clancy
obviously in
Brown.
this, acted by Clancy Brown again. He also played the, I think his name was Berg from season 1 of Mando,
Mhm.
the red alien.
And he's a character in Knights of the Old Republic too. I'm blanking on his name, but I know he voice acts.
Oh.
Yeah, he voice acts one of like I think he like one of the gang leaders or something like. It's been a minute since I played that game, but.
So a bit later on that scene, Ryder introduces Jai Kell, who was also in Rebels as an Imperial cadet that Ezra escapes the facility with. That was the senator he was talking about.
Yeah. Very cool.
Sabine makes Ezra's helmet. You can see his scout helmet in Sabine's room. Awesome. Sabine makes a copy of the Night Sister structure to bring back to her house, using the same style disc that the Death Star was printed on that Leia gives to R2-D2. And the last one I found was in episode 2. The New Republic police ships on Corellia are just the generic police shuttles now for Star Wars. They're the ones from the Clone Wars and the one that Cal Kestis was transported in Survivor. So that's all I have. The
Gotta close
fuzzy
it.
eggs too.
Gotta close it out. Yeah, I had the Suga! But I had some time today, and I showed a couple of people before you hopped on, and I was like, I really hope he has some Easter eggs, man. I was like, I want to drop this.
That was amazing.
Because we talk about it like every round table, how we're like we need like an intro and outro to you doing these. So that'll be it, man. You got your
Beautiful.
Intro, outro.
Appreciate it.
But yeah, if you guys don't have anything else to say, I think we'll close it out.
Sounds good.
All right. Well, thank you guys for watching and tuning in. We're going to do the same thing every Saturday at 7 p.m. And then I'll also drop my opinions on the channel. Definitely go give everybody a follow and on all their social medias, Instagrams, YouTubes, all that stuff. All that information's down below because they also make super awesome content. And as always, may the force be with you.
Good one.